Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Talk About It Tuesday, and again, we're going through some of these practical principles found in crucial conversations because we all know that we have conversations with other people, and some of them can be difficult. And so, how can we prepare ourselves to having these conversations rather than just sweeping under the rug some of the conflict that we know we need to address? And because actually in the scripture, we need to be addressing things. In Matthew chapter 18, if someone has an offense against you, you go to that person. And so scripturally, we need to be dealing with difficult conversations. And so practically, how can we do that? Well, the author, Joseph Grenny, he says that we should have these 4 different practical things that we should think about prior to going into that difficult conversation here. And he says the first way is to get our motives right. He says the stress of tough conversations has a way of surfacing selfish motives even more than usual. Grenny recommends that our first step should be to reset our motives. And I quoted one of the pastors that I was under before that, do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? So many people just want to be right when it comes to having conversations or dealing with conflict or debating, right? We just want to prove that we are right rather than thinking about the situation as a whole and actually thinking about the other person or group of people. He recommends us asking ourselves these questions. He says, what do I really want? What do I want for me? For the other person, for the relationships, for maybe the other stakeholders. And something that we have to understand as well is that this book, not this book, but Crucial Conversations, is not a biblical spiritual book. It doesn't have the spiritual truths that this does. But you know what? I think we can take some of these practical principles and take them into going into the scripture and applying the spiritual truths to our lives so that way we can be effective when it comes to communicating with other people and dealing with conflict like we all do. In Colossians chapter 3, verse 2, it says, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. And that's really where the heart is the issue here, our motive. What are we setting our minds to? What is the purpose of this conversation? And think about the end in mind. What do you want that group of people or that person to understand after the conversation is over? I think that is crucial. And what is your motive in having it? And in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 2 says, all a person's ways seem pure to them. And you may be thinking, hey, my motives are right. I'm going to go here. I'm going to prove that they're wrong and I'm right. And you may, in your own mind, think that you have the right motive. But listen to that second half of Proverbs 16:2. But motives are weighed by the Lord. And so this is crucial when it comes to conversations, is going to the Lord first. Going to him saying, God, prepare my heart. God, give me your mindset. God, give me your eyes. God, give me wisdom beyond my experience, beyond my years, so that way I can look at it from your perspective rather than mine. Because again, Proverbs 16:2, all a person's ways seem pure to them, but motives are weighed by the Lord. And so have that conversation with another. Talk about it. Maybe you don't talk about the person that you want to have the conversation with, but maybe go to somebody else and say, you know what, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is my approach. What do you think about that? And obviously, don't forget to go to the Lord before you have that conversation. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for another Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.